The next couple slides, I want to talk about documentation. And there are documents that you might be very familiar with. There might be documents that you've kind of heard of, but don't know what they are. They might be brand new terms to you. So wherever you fit in with this. But I want to start out with a commercial invoice, all right? Commercial invoice is a document required by the U.S. Customs, Border, and Protection to determine true value of the imported goods, okay? I think you know where this is going, all right? The government wants to know what the value of your shipment is, all right? A commercial invoice must contain the following. You must have the buyer's name and address. You must have a date and the terms of the sale, quantity, weight, and or value, type of packaging. What do I mean by type of packaging? Is it a crate? Is it a box? Is it a 55-gallon drum? How are you bringing that in? Complete description of the goods, unit value, and total value. Okay? I'm bringing in 1,000 widgets at $1 a piece or $10 a piece for a total of $10,000. All right? Insurance, shipping, and other charges. What currency are you using? Are you using USD? Using CDN? You using yen? You using euros? What is it? And your country of origin. Okay? Go ahead.
Question on the unit value and total value.
Yep.
This comes up a lot for me at least. I've got an order because it's one commercial invoice per order, correct?
Correct.
So if I've got a pallet with 50 boxes on it, or if I've got, I'm sure you've got 5 different boxes, it's still one commercial invoice per order, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So on the commercial invoice, do I have to give box level detail for that? So box 1 has these line items in it, box 2 has these line items? Or can I just say the order has these line items, totaling this value?
You know what? I'm going to tell you, do you have to? No.
Okay.
You don't. It's by the shipment.
Okay.
What are we clearing? Your shipment, okay? If you've got 1,000 widgets, it's 1,000 widgets, okay? I can tell you that the more information and the smaller unit of description that you could put on there, the better.
Okay.
So if you want to break it down, all right, but your manifest is going to have the breakdown on it, okay? So really to answer your question, no, you don't need to break it down.
That's a big thing because
Okay, you don't need
the
to.
questions were, do I get fines if I don't go box level?
No. Now, your manifest needs to be broken down. Okay? Any other questions on a commercial invoice? And I don't want people to start flipping through the book, but I'll give you a heads up. And one of the reasons that that I passed this book out is if you look on page 375, actually the actual commercial invoice is on page 377 if you've never seen a commercial invoice before. Okay? Now, to answer your question, Robert, in that particular example, they do break, you'll see they break down in there. You know, it doesn't say boxes, it just says items, but those are actually different SKUs.
When you mentioned about your manifest has to be at box level, if I don't make my manifest at box level, when I file AES,
No, when you file your AES, now you're talking about an export,
Right.
okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, when you file your AES, you could put 1,000 widgets,
Okay.
okay? When you file your manifest, okay, we're either going in a container, in a train, a truck, whatever you're putting it in, you're better off putting 10 widgets
Okay.
per box. Okay? But your AES would still be 1,000. Your commercial invoice would be 1,000.
Okay.
Did I thoroughly confuse a lot of people on that? Or
I have a question.
go ahead, Katie.
For exporting, for the value, if I was shipping something from here and say it cost $1,000, but when it got to the country that was accepting it, it was say $1,200 because we impose, a higher cost to them. What value would we be using? Would we be using the U.S. value or the other country's value?
Wow. Let's break that down. Why is your value changed?
Well, we have a sister company in Malaysia,
Okay.
and
I knew a sister company was coming in on this
so
somehow.
their cost is 10% higher than what our cost is. So when I'm not very good at, I don't know all these invoice and all that, but I do a commercial invoice for them. And I always put the cost of the U.S. in there. And I was wondering if I should be putting
Where's your product made?
it's in the U.S.
That's what should go.
It should be the U.S.
That's what should go on your commercial invoice, because that's the actual value to the product. Remember, commercial invoice is not what you sell your product for.
Well, I've been doing it this way forever, and then somebody else in another department said, no, you're supposed to be using the Malaysia cost. And I said, why? It's coming, and I'm not very good at this again. So I said, no, I've always been doing the U.S. price, and that's what we're paying for it here. And
I'm not trying to get anything going within your company. All I could say, if there's a reason for it and that's why you're doing it, maybe that's happening. But I can tell you that your commercial invoice is the value of the product. If you're producing the product, it's what it costs you to produce. Okay? The only time that the commercial invoice should be a selling price is if the product has already been sold to somebody else. Meaning that you sell it to ABC company that has already sold it to XYZ company. Okay? At that point, the commercial invoice value is what was sold to XYZ. But if your product is just going to a vendor or not a vendor, but to a customer or a sister company, it should be the value to that product. Any other questions? Commercial invoice is very important because it determines the value to the shipment.